Hey baby, this is Bonnie DeShong and Bonnie's Eye and Friends on Jam 98 Music for Your Soul. And today, one of my friends, and I say friends because since I turned 50, I got this card AARP in the mail. And trust me, I have been using it like crazy. At first, I said, no, well, I got an AARP card for it. And then I realized all the information, all the discounts, all the everything that I was getting from it. So, baby, I carry this with me always. That's why I am so excited to be speaking with today Chartay Robinson, who is the Associate State Director for Advocacy and Outreach at AARP.
Yes,
How are you?
I'm well, thanks. And Bonnie, I am a proud card carrying member of AARP as well. So I understand.
I know it was like when I first got it in the mail, Chartay, I said, now, number one, how did they know I turned 50?
Right.
And number two, I ain't old. Why do I have an AARP card? And I realized AARP doesn't mean you're old.
No.
It just means that you're going to be getting great benefits and getting your mind and everything from your pocketbook to your travel
Right.
to your health
Right.
to everything. I mean, it is such a wealth of information, and I really appreciate it now more than I thought I ever would.
Yeah. Yeah. It really is such a resource for a community. So once upon a time, it was considered to be for older people, right? Old people.
Yeah.
However, it really is for 50 plus. 50 plus looks very different. We're active, we travel, we want a discount, but we also want to be aware of the things that AARP pays attention to and are supportive of and advocacies an advocate for. And so we just want to spread the good news of AARP and all of the resources that are a part of it. So it's a win-win for everyone involved with AARP.
And it really is. And people, you have to realize that AARP is also an advocate for everybody that's out there over the age 50 and older. It's an advocate. Just like right now in Chicago, we're having our election time. And I was really impressed to see how AARP was reaching out to us, and I say us because I'm a member, on educating us on, our voting in this election. So what is some of the information that you're spreading about it, and how can we take that to heart?
Sure. So please forgive me. I'll be putting my glasses on and off.
That's quite right.
But to your point, this is a major election in the Chicagoland area. Not Chicagoland, in the Chicago area. We have 9 candidates that are running to be the mayor of the great city of Chicago. And what we want is for not just our members of AARP, but also Chicago community to understand who the candidates are, how to vote, where to vote, when to vote, and then also to provide resources and provide opportunities for community to hear from all of the candidates. We have had 2 forums where we've invited all 9 of the candidates to talk about the issues for 50 plus community. We've also had sit down interviews with all 9 of the candidates so that they can understand what 50 plus community is saying. And this is not specific to AARP members. It really is to highlight the voice of community in Chicago 50 plus.
Well, it's so many of these commercials that we see. Some people go in and just go by that. But the thing I'm loving about this is AARP is allowing us to do our due diligence,
Right.
And have our voices heard and be able to attend things and ask the questions head on. Now, when you have these great forums and things, what were some of the issues that we had?
Right. So it was essential services. It's, how do you access healthcare? It's affordability. What do we do when our property taxes are high? And then also some of the other issues, about youth services and access to. But what I can say is that the 50 plus community have felt that during these forums, that community 50 plus, the voices have not been spoken to. The community 50 plus have not been spoken to. And as AARP, what we want to do is make sure that our candidates understand that the 50 plus audience will be the deciding factor for this mayor's election that's coming up at the end of the month. And so, just to give you some data points, we found out that 86% of voters over 50 will be voting in this election. 86% of 50 plus individuals will be voting. That's a deciding factor. And if we don't speak to the issues that are important to that community, who knows who will be the next elected mayor of the great city of Chicago.
And that's true because I early vote. So this week I early voted already.
Mm-hmm.
But it took me a minute to go through and try to find out who is doing things for my best interest,
Right.
because so many times, and the thing that gets me too, and I'm sorry for I'll do this, Chartay, I'll talk, is that some of the candidates are in that 50 plus, and it's like they forget all about us and our strength, even if
Right.
we're retired and on a fixed income.
Mm-hmm.
They forget about us. And speaking of fixed incomes,
Yeah.
you know, how are they addressing that? Our taxes and things like that.
So our survey had identified 79% of older adults who are considering leaving the city of Chicago because they are on a fixed income. And the concern is, if I'm living in an area with a fixed income, will I be able to afford to live in Chicago? So the question is to the next mayor is, how can you make life affordable, right? So from high utilities to property taxes, those are the things that we are hearing from the 50 plus community. And I also want to mention that it's very important for us to talk about 50 plus community, but then also to make sure that we have access, right? So how do you access the information about who's running? So again, I mentioned the voters guide. You can go to www.aarp.org/IL. Or if you don't have access to the internet at this point, we encourage you to call the Chicago Board of Elections, and that's at 312-269-7900. There you can find where to vote, who to vote for, who's running. So then you can make a best informed decision for yourself about who's running. And AARP really wants to provide all of the information that is available in a one-stop shop, if you will, our website, but then also with the Chicago Board of Elections.
And it is very, very important, everyone, that you make an educated decision on who you are voting for,
Right.
not who your friends say you should vote for,
Right.
but who you feel you should vote for.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so important. But Chartay, some of my good friends that have been retired for years are finding they have to go back to work.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's all because of this income situation here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, utility bills.
Right.
Girl, I got my gas bill.
Yeah.
I just about passed out.
Mm-hmm.
What were they saying about that?
So I just want to share a story about a woman. So what we've asked community to do district by district is to submit stories, 50 plus community members to submit stories about what they're currently experiencing, from affordability, from essential services to, all of the areas that are identified of priority for our 50 plus community. And I just want to share this one story that we found is that A woman in Ashburn who wrote in to tell us that her water and sewer bill has doubled and that her electricity and gas bill are the highest that she's ever seen. So older adults can't keep up with this if they're on a fixed income, if we're on a fixed income. So we need to know what is our next mayor will do in order to provide relief, for our community members who may have at one point been a part of a two family or two income household, but that may have changed, or living, Social Security or retirement or what have you. How do you live well, comfortably, with these things that are rising, but there appears to be no relief. And so until we have people in leadership that can address it and make it a priority so that it provides relief for our 50 plus community, we will find that people will either return back to work after retirement or they will leave the city of Chicago.
And that would be such a heartbreak, especially for people who have lived here for so long. One of my, I don't want to say issues, but concerns is when we have forums and things like this, and they say what they're going to say.
Yeah.
But how do we keep them doing what they said they were going to do?
Well, I really think by having organizations like AARP who are advocates for a 50 plus community, whomever is, we're nonpartisan, but whomever is our next mayor, we are committed to being a part of the whole strategy, especially for our 50 plus community members, joining forces with the next mayor so that voices can be heard, things can be done, and resources can be provided in all communities in the city of Chicago.
And what is the most misconception about AARP?
Yeah, I think we talked about it earlier, is that it's that it's not for everyone, right? And as I mentioned, I am a proud card holder of AARP, not just because I am a client, not just because I'm a staff member, but I qualify. I am 50. And the resources that are available, I access them daily as often as I can when I travel, going to certain restaurants. I always ask the question, do you accept AARP? Do you have an AARP discount? So the misconception, in my opinion, is that it's not for everyone. And it really is an inclusive organization. And I'll also add that my role specifically also is my specific role is for financial literacy, right? And so oftentimes I want to talk about those pocketbook issues that are important to our communities, right? But we're talking about that sandwich generation. There are those of us who are taking care of our parents, but then we also have children who are in college. And so financially, how do we balance all of that? AARP can be a support in that. We can provide financial literacy. We can provide information. When I say provide, information and resources about financial literacy, but also about livable communities. If you have questions about Medicaid and Medicare, if you go to aarp.org, you will see the vast education information that is specific for 50 plus, but also for people who are not yet 50. We want to have those intergenerational conversations so that we're doing some recruitment, if you will, of those who will gladly be supporters of AARP, but then also provide the information for those who are at the age and they're thinking about Social Security, thinking about Medicaid, Medicare, thinking about their parents, and then also their children who are in college. So,
well, I want to let everybody know that I carry my AARP card with me. And the thing is, you're going to get it in the mail. Yes, you become a member You know, you're not automatically a member, you become a member. And the book that you get every month is so helpful with everything that you could think of. And I love that you are educating people about this Chicago election.
Right.
It's very well needed. Everybody, if you haven't gotten out to vote, make sure you get out to vote before February. By February 28th is the actual election day. Don't sit on it. If you have any kind of questions, go to AARP.org/IL.
Correct.
AARP.org/IL. Thank you, Chartay Robinson. Any last words that you want to have before we stop this one? But everybody, I'm sorry for jumping in, Chartay. I do that. This will not be the last time we'll be talking to Chartay, because there's so many great subjects that AARP and so many great things that AARP is doing. We're going to be talking to Chartay more, I hope, because I'm getting so much information from you right now. But any last words?
No, thank you for mentioning the website. So I just want to say it again, AARP.org/IL. And then also, if you want to call the Chicago Board of Elections, it's 312-269-7900. And that again is if you want to call to find out where your voting location is, who's running, and all of the details. If you want to early vote, if you want to mail in your vote, like there is a list of things in which you can access through the website, but then also if you call the Chicago Board of Elections.
Well, I really appreciate you coming on with me today. So everybody, join AARP, okay, please, and get out and vote. Until next time, keep your eye to the sky.